I work for the Open University. We have quite a lot of programmes using the ePad, and you'll be quite surprised when I tell you about it. We have it for our Chartered Management degree, Senior Leader degree, digital technology, software engineering. We also use it for nursing, as we'll feel more familiar, advanced clinical practitioner, social work, and we're just about to roll it out to nursing associate. So I think I've got most of the programmes there. So you'll probably be quite surprised about how we use it, and be thinking how on earth to use that functionality. And the answer is actually we use two products, and we use both MyProgress and we use MyShowcase, which is the sister product developed by MyKnowledgeMap. And what we've been working as a university is seeing how those two things can be knitted together, so that we can sort of make the very best use of the functionality. And we tend to sort of cherry pick the bits that we like about MyProgress and the bits that we like about MyShowcase to sort of make an integrated platform. I just want to introduce Tony, who did just say who he was. He's our product development manager. He's got an absolutely outstanding knowledge of both systems now, possibly to rival some of the people working within MKM, and he's been really great at helping us to develop the way that we want to use the system, along with lots and lots of help from Adam, John Bentley, and from Tom, along with, well, to be honest, MKM have been absolutely brilliant. We've been working on this for about 18 months now. We've got about 1,400 users, but it's across 11 programmes. So we are very much sort of, I'd like to say we've got a few guinea pig groups, or I could call us pioneers. So there's been a few little bumps in the road as we go along, because it's all new functionality. But I'd just like to spend some time showing you what we've done, and I'm going to illustrate how we've used the two systems sort of knitted together for our advanced clinical practitioners. So let me just, sorry, I'm just going to log in. So, for those of you who've never seen MyShowcase before, which is the sister product to MyProgress, you'll be thinking, what on earth's this? So what this is the stuff area that students use where they put documents and then they will map it against a standard. Now that's been used for all of our apprenticeships. So the reason we've got so many different programmes using this is because they're all apprentices using it. And within England, apprenticeships all have something called an apprenticeship standard. There are different standards for everything that you can possibly think of, from dog grooming to nursing to I think abattoir worker as well. That's another one that you've got. So we've got a number of standards that we've set up where students basically use this My Stuff area, and they use it to sort of store evidence, which they then map to a standard wheel, and it's quite easy for them to do. If we look at this here, I've got here something which is a situational judgment form, and we go into it, and there's something here called tags and standards. And for this one, I'm looking at this is our module that we use within Advanced Clinical Practitioner, and I'm going to say that actually this piece of evidence that I can see here is quite useful for mapping against these particular criteria. And that's basically how it works. It's got lovely little things that it says to us. So Yippee comes up on the top right hand side. And as I said, we use this across lots and lots of different programmes. So I'm going to show you then what that looks like when our students on our ACP programme then move into MyProgress and look at it in their ePads, because this is how we've knitted it together. So we can now see this was Sam, who we just saw a minute ago, and he's got a portfolio, an AP portfolio. We haven't set it up to show that he's on placement, but effectively there's stuff going on in the background that means that we've treated each module that Sam does as a placement. And then we have a look at it. You'll start to see things looking a little bit more familiar. So we've got an introductory section. Sam's got a practice supervisor and a number of people who have assessed their work within the EPAD. And then we've got this area here, which is where we keep all of the forms. So we sort of put it between practice-based learning evidence, where we have things like mini CEX, DOPS, direct observation, procedural skills, situational judgment, and this will probably start to feel a little bit more familiar to you as you look at it. What I can then show you is the way in which this information has now been mapped into what we call progress wheels. So that little bit of mapping that I just showed you a minute ago now means that we can see, just remember which standard we've just mapped it to, we can see here that there's this little progress wheel here, and some of it is being coloured in, and we've got a marking criteria here. So level 1, the light blue, is novice, level 4 is expert, level 3 is competent, level 2 is advanced beginner. And on this particular programme, what we ask is that the students assess themselves at the beginning of the module and at the end of the module, and there's certain criteria that we want them to get to level 3, so there's a target level 3, which is here. Now, the practice supervisors have been set up with accounts, and they actually do the marking. So as well as assessing the students using the traditional EPAD functionality that you're used to, that we're also asking them to go in and mark the students' progress as well using this criteria. So if I just scroll down a little bit, what we can see here is there's a criteria that the student needs to demonstrate that they can practice autonomously using a person-centred approach within the extended scope of practice. And if I have a little look at that, I can see that there are 2 bits of evidence that have been mapped, and that their practice supervisor have already marked them as being competent within this particular capability. What you'll also notice, which is quite interesting, is that you've got 2 colours. You've got blue documents and you've got orange documents. Now, an orange document will have been filled in and completed within the EPAD. So it's actually an EPAD form that by some process of magic has put itself into the MyProgress, into the MyShowcase bit. The student has mapped it, and then we can see it back again when we're in when we're looking at it within the EPAD. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth do you do all of this? With Advanced Clinical Practitioner, there are lots and lots of different standards and frameworks. So you've got different frameworks in 2 different frameworks in Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland and England, and the apprenticeships have a different framework as well. So what we've managed to do is we group students, we give them the necessary framework, and we allow them to add the evidence as they want to. Because it's such a wide programme, sometimes not everything is within the EPAD, so these blue documents here would basically be like a Word document that they've uploaded, which they see as being evidence. Because actually, when you've got such a wide scope of a programme, you just can't create templates for everything that they could possibly do, so we like to give them that flexibility. The other reason why we've sort of said, like, well, we'll put it all into MyProgress so where you can see everything within MyProgress, is it allows our practice supervisors just to learn one system. Because one of the things that I said to MKM was, practice supervisors don't want to learn too much, so that we get this working. There's a few little things about this that could be improved, because it's new. Sometimes, because this is coming from a different system, today it's behaving absolutely beautifully. It's loading really quickly. Sometimes it can take 20 to 30 seconds to load up. Then we get the sort of emails from the practice supervisors going, "It doesn't work!" And we go, "Yes, it does, just wait." So that creates a little bit of email traffic between us. So that's how we're using it for ACP. Now I'm just going to check on time. Another thing that I would like to show you that Sam has got, and then you'll understand why I'm telling you that all of our students, including people doing digital technology, use EPADs, is because we've also given Sam an apprenticeship record, which is not behaving itself. Hang on. Let's just refresh. Okay, let me just give it a second.
You jinxed it, didn't you?
I shouldn't have said it, should I? Is it there now? Right, there we go. So all of our students get a number of EPADs. So if you look in the left-hand menu here, we can see Apprenticeship Record 2022, and then we've got the EPAD for the module that we call K805. If you can see that, if that's big enough. So the apprenticeship record is where it gets really quite fun, and which is where we have really needed to work very closely with MKM, and Tony has worked tirelessly to make this work. So we've got their apprenticeship record. What we can see here is details of who their employer is, the course, the duration, but it looks very much like an EPAD. And then when we have a look at it, we can see, again, it looks quite familiar. So we've got a section here for the student for getting help. This directs them to the various student support services that they might need. We've got a training plan. I don't know if any of you have any apprentices, but the EFSA, which is the funding body, do have some very, very strict rules about things that we need to do for all of our students. And a training plan is something that they're supposed to get within the first 6 weeks of the programme. And as you can see, this is just a series of forms where students upload documents that they've used during the enrolment process. We put in some dates. They look at they do something called a skills scan. They look at what they know before they've started on the programme, so that we can tailor some of the content around things that they don't necessarily need to learn. Now, this again might feel quite foreign for nursing, where it is so incredibly it's very, very, very well structured. But for some of our other programmes, say for example the senior leadership programme, you might have somebody coming in with 10 years experience, you might have somebody with 20 years experience, you might have somebody coming in with 1 year's experience. So some of the things that they need to focus on, their goals and their pre-learning, will be quite different. And then there's another thing, which is where it all gets quite exciting, is in England they have to have progress reviews. I think every 12 weeks, Wales it's every 61 days, Scotland it's every 13 weeks, so we've got it all going on. So what we've got here is a record called off the job status. Again, this is something that is specific for apprentices. They are supposed to have paid time off during the week, part of their working week, not on the weekend, by the way, if they're a Monday to Friday worker, where they'll typically have 1 to 2 days a week, which we call protected time for their online learning. This is quite separate with our two supernumerary practice hours. Those are recorded quite separately for our nursing students using this. We also have here a record for functional skills. Again, quite a lot of our apprentices, even though they come in with a wealth of sort of experience, may not have level 2 maths and English when they start on programme. Because we're the Open University, we don't tend to have many prerequisites for coming onto the course. So one of the things that they will have to do is study GCSE level maths and English with us if they haven't done it before they started on programme. Now what we can see here is it's in red, which means that this particular student, they're not exempt, because they'd be grey if they were exempt, but they haven't engaged with this system called BKSB, which is our maths and English learning system. They haven't done that either. That's because this is a test user. If they were in green, that would mean, and they had some scores, we'd be able to see their latest assessment scores from the BKSB programme, and we also have a series of forms where their maths and their English tutor kind of report on progress. This makes it much easier for our practice tutors and our academic lecturers to see the whole holistic journey that's going on for our apprentices. And then for their progress review, again, you can see the progress wheels. This just means that it's in your face. When you're sitting down with your student, there it is, all the information is in front of you, and then we have a series of reviews, up to 6 per year, depending on what programme and where you are in the country. and we've got they set dates. The students fill in some forms. I'm not going to show you it, but they get signed off, and it's using the functionality that you'll all be quite used to. So that's how we've used the ePads. As I say, there's been a few bumps in the road. Sometimes when things slow down, because we're using it with so many different programmes, and it's all quite young, I think it causes a fair bit of anxiety amongst our academic colleagues, because they're still looking at it going, what is this? Is it going to work? Is it going to load up when we're in front of our students? So that we're still feeling our way, but I think we've certainly noticed massive improvements over the last few months, and the students seem to really like the system. The practice tutors, they're coming round to it, which is what I think the best we can ask. Some of them preferred using paper, but a lot of them actually really appreciate the fact that they can now see all the information. So they've been asking for this for a long time, sort of a holistic view of what our apprentices are doing. So this is delivering really well.